today we're going to dive deep into the heart of Italy. But, not through its food or its art or its incredible ruins. No, we're looking at something that might be even more fundamental. It's soccer. It's a perfect mirror of the nation itself.
So, to really get why soccer is such a big deal there, you've got to ask a pretty basic question about Italy itself. I mean, it's a pretty young country, right? And it's famously divided, with these super strong regional identities. So, what is it that actually holds it all together? What makes someone feel, well, Italian? And believe it or not, the answer is kinda wild. The historian John Foote notes that when a bunch of intellectuals were asked this exact question, a whole lot of them didn't point to politics or history. They pointed to the national soccer team. And that's really our starting point here. This idea that a group of players in blue jerseys can act as a powerful, unifying glue for an entire country. So let's dig into that. To really understand its power, we have to look at the cultural roots of calcio. We've got to understand what the game actually means in the day-to-day life of the country. Okay, first things first, the name. In Italy, you don't say soccer, you say calcio. And trust me, it's so much more than just a word. It's a full-blown cultural institution. It's a language everybody speaks, a way to define who you are and where you come from. Your team loyalty, that's often something you inherit, passed down through the family just like your last name. Think about this. For a huge chunk of the 20th century, calcio basically set the clock for the entire nation. The Sunday afternoon match was this untouchable ritual. After a big family lunch, the country would just stop. Cafes would fill up, and for 90 minutes, millions of people were all plugged into the exact same experience. It literally gave shape to the week.
And that connection, it's never more powerful than when the national team, La Nazionale, or the Azzurri, the Blues, as they're called for their famous blue shirts, takes the field. This is when calcio stops being just a pastime and becomes this incredible force for national unity.
And look, this isn't just some blind patriotism. It's built on a history of unbelievable success. We're talking count 'em, 4 FIFA World Cup championships. This number isn't just a statistic. It's a source of immense national pride, representing these unforgettable shared moments in time. Just look at these years, 1934, 1938, 1982, and 2006. Each one is just burned into the country's collective memory. That 82 win, for example, it was this amazing redemption story for Paolo Rossi, a striker who came back from a ban to become the hero. I mean, that victory is remembered as this moment of pure joy that brought the entire country out into the streets. These are the stories that grandparents tell their grandkids. And that, right there, is the team's unique power. Italy is a country that's, famously divided politically. But when the Azzurri play, all of that just melts away. It's completely normal to see people from the far left and the far right standing shoulder to shoulder, waving the exact same flag, cheering for the exact same goal. It's like all other identities are put on pause, and for 90 minutes, everyone is just Italian. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, and kind of contradictory. If the national team is this great unifier, club football often does the exact opposite. It taps into and even cranks up the volume on the very divisions that have defined Italy for centuries. So you've got this perfect split. On one side, there is La Nazionale, this symbol of a shared national identity. But on the other side, you've got Serie A, the top league, where loyalty is fiercely local. Club rivalries aren't just about sports. They're about pride in your city, and a lot of the time, they're a battleground for deep-seated political and regional tensions. And yeah, it can get pretty ugly. Just look at this banner. This was from fans in Verona, a city in the north, when the team from Napoli, in the south, came to town. By saying, "Welcome to Italy." Wow. They were basically saying, you guys from Naples, you're not even part of the real Italy. It's such a visceral example of how these rivalries can be a stand-in for that historic north-south divide. And you see these tensions pop up in all sorts of ways. When regionalist political parties like the Lega Nord came along, openly hostile to the south, the stadium terraces pretty much became political battlegrounds. You'd see these awful banners with regionalist insults, painting the South as this hostile, separate place. In that context, club football wasn't just reflecting the division, it was making it louder. So we've got this incredible tension between unity and division. But over the last couple of decades, something else has happened. A massive shift that has totally changed how Italians watch the game. And with it, that core Sunday ritual we were talking about. So, what happened? Well, it's this thing called calcio spezzettato.
It literally means chopped up football, and that's exactly what it is. Thanks to the massive commercialization of the sport and, money from TV rights, the games aren't all on Sunday afternoon anymore. No, they're scattered all over the week, from Friday night right through to Monday evening.
So what's the big deal? Well, the fallout from this is huge. That great national ritual, poof, gone. That one moment when the whole country would stop what it was doing to watch, it's been broken up into a dozen smaller pieces. Soccer is now this constant background hum instead of one big, powerful weekly event. That shared moment has been seriously weakened.
So you might be thinking, with the national team's results being up and down lately, and with the Sunday ritual basically dead, has calcio lost its cultural grip? Well, not exactly. Because one absolutely crucial thing hasn't changed a bit. Let's be clear, the ritual has absolutely changed. The way Italians watch and experience soccer today is completely different from how their parents and grandparents did.
But, and this is the key thing, the passion? Oh, that hasn't gone anywhere. Despite all the changes, Italians still talk about soccer every single day. They argue over tactics, they yell about referees, and they feel every single win and every single loss with this deep, unchanging emotion. The cultural importance of calcio is still there.
And that leaves us with this one big question to chew on. Soccer in Italy is still this fascinating contradiction. It brings people together, and it drives them apart. As the game keeps changing, what does that constant push and pull tell us about Italy's own identity? In the end, what's the stronger force? The passionate love for your local club, or that unifying pride in the Azzurri?